everybody, and welcome to Dynamic GT League Serpent Series for Race 6 from the Nurburgring GP circuit. And joining us on commentary as we take a look at the standings is Ray. How you doing tonight, Ray?
I'm doing very well, but look at that. Steve F1 leading the championship by 6 points, and then Demon R second place with Art Pal just behind him by 1 point.
Yeah, SGP's not too far away. Unfortunately for Art Pal, though, he's unable to race today.
And he didn't message fucking Page.
Oh, yeah, he didn't. I hope someone's reported him for that. Yeah, we've got Conrad with his win last week, jumps up to 5th place. So great result for him as we're looking at a sunny Nurburgring here in Germany. A few people may have been hoping for rain, but none on the cards at the moment as Steve F1 sits on pole position and Conrad joins him on the front row of the grid.
Yeah, and we've got Demon R in 3rd place with SGP in 4th place. I'm getting mixed up with the motorbike numbers and the car numbers. 5th place Jason, 6th place we've got Nelly, and then look at that, Jimmy
16th place Jimmy.
7th place Jimmy, 8th place, oh who's that, Gary, and then Twilight and Rich Blues at the back there.
Yep.
Sheer driving pleasure.
Absolutely. Twilight unable to use his wheel again this week, which is a bit of a shame, but here we go. 4 lights, 5 lights, away they go, and then it's gone backwards. Oh dear.
It's not dirty. It's not dirty season yet.
Well, I was going to say, we didn't mean it when he said he was in 16th place the other day. Oh god damn. Very wide. I think he may have been taking evasive from Steve F1's rear end there. Holds on to 3rd place though as Conrad and may have just tagged the back of Steve F1 in the middle of the corner. Now Ray, we have raced here so many times and we have talked so many times about this particular corner and cars trying to sneak up the inside. I think we're going to be seeing cars and drivers covering that inside line quite aggressively today and down towards the hairpin. Excuse me, but at the moment, it's 3 wide in the background. Steve F1 opening up a little bit of a gap on Conrad here in 2nd place.
Yeah, Demon R not that far back, yeah. Down here, I don't know if Conrad's going to, he doesn't look like he's going defensive just yet. I think he doesn't feel threatened by Demon R at the minute. Demon R closing up under the brakes there, so I'll put Conrad under pressure through Schumacher S's.
Yeah, they will. Rich Blues got very side by side with Nelly. As we see Gary get it sideways! Oh, big side! And someone else is sideways as well as Gary spinning around as Rich Blues. And
Nelly's off.
Yeah, I think Nelly was facing the wrong direction then for a moment. Okay, I didn't really see what happened between Rich and Nelly, but Gary caught the curb and it speared him off to the left-hand side. And to be honest, that is exactly what happened to Steve F1 in his first qualifying run on his first time lap. So he ended up having to abandon that, went for a new set of tyres and got Paul and Demon R up the inside. That was a late move. Connor goes a bit too much through the corner there. I do think though, SGP gives Demon R a little bit of a nudge on the arse end. Yeah, Connor went sort of across the corner, but I think that was caused by Demon R. Okay,
I just see Demon R's arrow coming in the radar like a wrecking ball and went, oh shit!
Absolutely, okay, Demon R pulling out now to look at making the move down into turn 1. I do want to sort of mention a little bit about that in a moment. We've got chances. Conrad looking for a switch back, can't get it done. Demon R is already ahead. Yeah, so it looked like Demon R came in like way late. And some people might say, well, it's unfair. It's just made the move into turn 1. However, obviously he didn't make the move at the chicane, and he did bump draft Conrad down the start finish, whereas he could have pulled out and attempted to make the move straight away. So, what?
I said lie.
Oh, lie! What lie for? But yeah, it's the truth, honest. I swear to God. I don't believe in God, but I swear to God. Sorry, I swear to dog. That's better. Okay. Oh, Jesus, your mother. Every time. Oh,
I haven't done that
Conrad.
in a while.
Yeah.
I just remembered that.
Conrad just went a little bit deep at the hairpin as Steve F1 go through the Schumacher S's. He's opened up quite a bit of a gap, hasn't he? I think Demon,
Yeah,
Demon
he's
Art.
staying now. He's kind of staying away from that left-hand side curb. I wonder why, yeah?
Yeah, it's a good question. Okay, so tyres. What do you know about the tyres around here then, Ray?
What do I know about the tyres around here? We're on racing hards.
Absolutely correct. I cannot fault you on that piece of information.
I can't remember. It was Monday, but now it's Friday.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that. Conrad just got a little bit wobbly there. The tyres will last 5 fairly pushed laps. So with a 20-lap race, we could be looking at a fairly simple 5-5-5-5 stint. And yeah, away you go. Could you get more out of the tyres? Maybe, if you looked after a big time SGP, having a look up the inside, not going for it though. Jason closing up a little bit on SGP, Twilight closing in, and Jimmy coming along for the ride as well. So yeah, 5 laps you can do a decent pace on. Could you get more? Maybe. Is it worth it? Nah, I don't think so. But then if we have rain, it could get very spicy. Jimmy, oh, Twilight's gone a bit deep there. Jimmy going for the switchback. What a move! What Twilight, a little wobbly wide. Here comes Nelly. Ooh, it's not a pretty sight.
No, it's good through there. Sorry, looking at that pina colada.
You were mid-drink, yeah. Oh dear.
I'm the back of my throat a little bit.
Oh, your pina colada tickled the back of your throat. What is it, strawberry flavoured?
Pina colada? It's coconut.
I don't know. They have all different flavoured type drinks now. And I tell you what, this is getting quite bunched up a little bit here now. So behind Conrad and SGP, the pack is forming right behind them. I think Rich Blues has just had a bit of an offense. Twilight making the move on Jimmy. Gary coming in a little hot. Takes the back of Twilight, sends him a little deep. And
Well, he can't push him off, but he kind of sent him deep and past him, so yeah. I'd be expecting to place back.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah. Come on, Gary. SGP on the back of Conrad went a little bit deep.
He'll say it wasn't me, it was Wallace gone freedom.
Yeah. Okay, SGP is he going to try and make the move around the outside? It's a bit tricky. You don't want to run too wide. If you dip a wheel on the AstroTurf, you could spin. Looking at the pack cam rate, Demon R's closed up on Steve F1 as SGP and Conrad are side by side. Yeah, Demon R's really caught up to Steve F1. I'm wondering then whether Steve F1 has sort of pushed it out of the blocks to try and open up a gap, but Demon R has, since got past Conrad, has closed that back in. So SGP now ahead of Conrad. I wasn't able to see the driver's tyres because the microphone's in the way. So I don't know what condition all the driver's tyres are, but these guys are looking fairly. You know what?
Yeah, let's get a couple more laps on this.
Yeah,
so you might go 4, 5, 6, lap 6.
I do.
It would go lap 6.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. Okay, so looking at Steve F1's tyres, yeah, he could easily do another one. Maybe he can get 2 more laps. So it'll be interesting to see now. Okay, so his last lap was a 2:08.5. His previous was a 2:07.5. And Demon R did a 2:07.2 on the last lap. So yeah, a bit over a second quicker. I'm wondering then whether Steve F1 has overheated the tyres a little bit in pushing, because one of the things around here is you might have the tyre life, but if you push too hard and get the temperatures up, it's very difficult to get those temperatures back down. As Gary, having a look at Nelly comes here off. So you can. So for example, like Gary, he's got a similar level of tyre wear to Steve F1 at the moment. but if he's kept his temperatures lower, he may have a lot more grip. So here we go, the Demon R, Steve F1 down into the chicane. You know what? It looks like Demon R's, yeah, he's closed it big time at the chicane, and they're both going for the pits. Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's...
Oh, is that not a lap early actually?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so they're not a lap early. Are they going to try and use a boost to advantage here because nobody else has followed them in yet?
Quite possibly. Okay, so SGP now leads the race with Conrad behind. Like I say, no one's followed them in, so yeah, I don't think anyone was really looking at doing a 4-lap stint. Rich Blues has got a bit of tyre wear, but like I say, all you have to do really is get to the end of lap 5, and you can do 5-lap stints. I mean, if everybody, Rich Blues making the move.
Go for a move. Go on, Rich.
Oh, is Gary going to come back up the inside? No, Rich makes the move and makes it stick as Steve F1. Comes out the pits on the pack cam, and Demon R is ahead of Jason. So Jason must have already pitted, and Demon R is ahead of Steve F1. Sorry, go on.
Oh, is Jason already? No, because Jason was further behind. So did Jason pit at the same time, and he's not put enough?
Oh,
he's not fueled.
That might be true. Rich Blues and Gary side by side though, down to the hairpin. Can Gary make it work around the outside? Have to be careful of Rich Blues getting a bit of understeer. Gary looking at perhaps doing a switch back. Got the speed on the exit. Oh no! Oh, that's so unfortunate, but also so easily done. Oh, it looked like he just went to jink out from behind Rich Blues, and yeah, the car couldn't handle it.
Is SGP went for another lap? No, not yet.
We're not
just watching their tyres.
You know what?
They've all kind of get similar. The top 3 here have got similar tyre. Rich's is a wee bit more. I'd be expecting Rich to come in this lap.
You know, it'd be interesting if we do, if we're going to get to see the likes of Demon R, Jason and Steve F1's fuel, because I'm wondering if you might be right, you know, if Jason pitted at the same time.
Demon R, 3/4 attack. Jason's got less than Demon R. Steve F1's filed up.
Okay, yes, so Steve F1 and SGP and Conrad have not pitted, neither has Nelly, so they're not doing 5 laps. Okay, we've definitely got differences of strategy. We've got Rich Blues in the pits. Yeah.
Jimmy needs to come in, his tyres were buggled down.
He's carried on. Yeah, Gary.
Jimmy's carried on.
Yeah.
Oh no! You seen that meme where the wee monkey goes, oh no?
No, the only one I know like that is the is it the like Mexican lady from Family Guy or something like that? She goes, oh no.
No, it's not.
Okay, so what we got here, Conrad runs a little bit wide. You don't want to be doing that too often. It is exceeding track limits, and you'll get dirty tyres. Okay, so what's the benefit of SGP and Conrad and Nelly doing the extra laps here, Ray? Because Demon R, Jason and Steve F1 are going to get 2 laps worth of boost on them. And is it me or is it looking a bit misty?
So I don't know if they're going to have much benefit, because they're going to have to. Sorry, I'm looking up that monkey meme, but comes up in my screen size.
Well, that's what happens when you go play with your monkey.
So I don't know if they'll get overcut. I doubt it, because look at SGP's started. SGP's struggling.
Yeah, big time. And Demon R has got Jason right behind him, and they've just passed Twilight, so Demon R won't get any boost anymore. Conrad, I think he'll get the move done here on SGP as they go side by side. Steve F1 on the pack cam trying to pass Twilight. I think these two have got a pit. You know, I don't think they've got the tyres to go further. But doing a 6-lap stint here, 6, 12, 18, that's too short. They're not pitting.
Going another lap. SGP's. I don't think this is. Would you rather want in a track position or
Jason side by side?
Try and fight.
Steve F1. Jimmy's heading to the pit. Okay, so Nelly's got a bit more tyre than SGP and Conrad. Excuse me, on the pack cam, Steve F1, SGP's got deep. Nelly might be able to get the move done round the outside. SGP is struggling big time. I can't remember the question you asked, but if it was, is it worth staying out and doing the extra laps? I'm not so sure at this moment, because look at how much SGP's struggling. Struggling to get it slowed down, struggling to get it turned. But having said that, if they're, I mean, okay, 7 lap, you could do 7, 14, and a 6 lap stint finish. But looking at how the tyres are for them this lap, they're going to lose so much time. Okay, Steve F1 on the back of Jason now, as Nelly on the back of Conrad. Yeah, so Connor's tyres have pretty much fallen off the cliff. And you mentioned earlier, Ray, about Nelly having good tyre wear, maybe able to go a couple of laps more. It's working for him at the moment, isn't it? He may just run out of tyre at the end of this lap. And oh, what a move! Nicely done.
I'll be back with you in a second.
It's not you monkey alone. Conrad's just ran deep. Where was that? At the Schumacher S's. So he's now losing the position to SGP. Yeah, so if we look at how much ground SGP and Conrad have now lost on Nelly, it has cost them big time. Steve F1 still behind Jason. So this is a little bit costly for Steve F1 at the moment, although he's in the boost position, but he's too close to Jason to get the boost. As Jason runs a little bit wide, Steve F1 may be able to do the switch back and make the move. Can't do the switch back, but he's going for it now. Hopefully be able to get that move done up into the chicane. So just to reiterate as well, Jason did pit at the same time as Demon R and Steve F1. Demon R put a little bit of fuel in, I would guess, to do his next stint. Steve F1 filled up as Nelly is into the pits. Yes, Steve F1 has filled up so he can have a quicker pit stop later. Jason, I don't think, put much fuel in at all. And that's how he ended up right behind Demon R and ahead of Steve F1. Steve F1 has been stuck behind Jason for 3 laps now. And that has allowed Demon R to open up the gap. And they've done 3 laps on these tyres, is it? Yeah, so this is the 4th lap, and they've got very good tyre wear, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Now, is Ray still with me, or has he disappeared? Yeah. Oh God, you've sent me the you said I'm not watching it. I'm not gonna watch it. Right, what we got going on out there?
Jason's at the moment. You might watch it, not play with the fucking soundboard.
I'm just trying to get you back.
We'll get Jason and Twilight having a wee battle here, and I don't know what the turn this is. We're going towards the Serpent. Twilight didn't really fight that one with Jason, so...
Well, I'm guessing Twilight's tyres are a little bit more worn. So SGP and Conrad have come out of the pits. Nelly is ahead of them. Oh, Connor and SGP having a bit of a battle out of the pits, actually. Making the move up the inside is Connor. Now, I mean, if they want to get another 7 laps out of their tyres, it's kind of got a little slippery. He's going to have to, they're going to have to make sure they don't push too much. But yeah, Nelly, it worked for Nelly there, the pit stop, you know. But will it have worked for him by the end of the race? I mean, we saw last week, didn't we, what happened to SGP, Demon R, Steve F1, and Nelly with the tyres going off in the last lap.
And also, did Nelly fill up with fuel? I can't remember. Conrad and SGP have filled up, so... I reckon
he will have filled up, because last week, not only did his tyres go, he also ran out of fuel. So I reckon he will have filled up. Okay, so Demon R, Steve F1 here. Steve F1 may have closed the gap up a little bit. Now, they did 4 laps on their first stint, didn't they? And they're now starting their 5th lap, so they're not doing 4 lap stints. I'm wondering, you know, if they went for... You know, I'm wondering if Steve F1 went for an early pit stop to use the boost and get an undercut, or like pit early and undercut Demon R and get further ahead, but Demon R may have followed him in. So I think if they were on 4 laps, they'd have pitted again already. Nelly did fill up. He's got the same amount of fuel as Connor. SGP's dropped way back.
He must be looking after his tyres.
Yeah.
He would have boost, so maybe he's just trying not to push while he's got the boost as well, in case he double kills his tyres.
Absolutely. I mean, we've talked about it before, haven't we? If you want to do longer stints, then when you pit, you've got boost. Drive slower and just let the boost give you the lap time. You can look after your tyres a lot, and that's probably what Steve F1 and Demon R were thinking with their early pit stop. Because if you were doing like a 5-lap stint and you decided to pit 1 lap early, you've then got to do a 6-lap stint. So you'd have to look after the tyres, because the tyres, I said they'll do 5 push laps, but they don't like doing 6 push laps. If you look after them from the start, like SGP, Nelly and Connor tried, you can get 6 out of them. 7 is a little bit nasty. So yeah, we're trying to see what happens. Is Jimmy got just under half a tank of fuel, but got plenty of tyres as he's closing in on Gary. Twilight is on knackered tyres. He didn't pit when we saw him. Demon R hasn't pitted either. Yeah, and neither has Steve F1.
Yeah, it seems like it's just got that little bit spread, you know, like last race it gets spread in the middle part of the race.
Yeah. Jason into the pits. He's got 13% of fuel left, so could have done another lap, but maybe didn't feel the tyres could do it. So you look at Steve F1, he's got plenty of fuel. Yeah, looking at the tyres, he's not going to want to do another lap after this one. It would be interesting to compare his tyres to Demon R's and get a chance. Rich Blues and Jimmy now were side by side. Rich Blues makes the move on the inside. Nicely done. And then we've got Nelly not too far away, closing up with the boost. Now, yeah, last night, right, I was in the pub and I went into the bar and I stood there having a pee, and I hear from a cubicle this guy says, "Excuse me, will you tie my shoes while I'm on the toilet?" And I was like, "You can't be serious." And he went, "I shit, you know."
I think you've told me that before.
Have I? Aww.
Yeah, I'm sure I've heard it before.
Well, maybe with my jokes it's a bit like porn websites. You know you're addicted when you're looking at the suggested videos and going, seen that, 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 seen that. Oh, not seen that one, seen that.
Jimmy going for a switchback on Nelly, is he going to get it? Oh,
Connor!
Oh, Jimmy's
What a move!
moved out. Connor's went, "Thank you very much."
Absolutely, what a move by last week's race winner. Closing in now on Rich
Blues. Oh, Rich. Yeah, I think Rich just kind of had that a wee bit in the middle of the road, and Rich tyres gone.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, he's going to struggle to keep any of the other cars behind him.
Leaders in.
Yes.
Demon R had less fuel than Steve F1.
Yeah, so that would be SGP trying to make the move on Rich Blues and gets that done. Conrad on the back of Gary wobbling. Nelly looking up the inside. Gary heading to the pits. So Nelly and Conrad. Connor's going to do a switch back here. If he gets this right, he'll have much better speed on the edge of the corner. Yeah, he'll
and I think he got the drive. Will out about now? No, back in.
Is SRI driving that car? Because he can't pull out. Or switch back! He's kind of on the wrong side here at the moment, though. You don't really want to be on the outside here.
He's past them.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a bit wider. He needs to be careful.
He's got to cover that inside as well. He's got a little deep. Got it done, nicely done. Okay, so Steve F1 has exited the pits.
The wobble coming out of the corner there.
Yeah, okay, Steve F1 is ahead of Demon R. Steve F1 has got a full tank of fuel. Demon R has got a full tank of fuel. And Jason, who pitted a lap before, once again is right behind Demon R. So Steve F1 has managed to get out ahead of Jason. Jason not benefiting too much there with the boost. But yes, we saw earlier, so Steve F1 was behind Demon R when they went into the pits, but as you mentioned, Demon R had less fuel in his car. With them both filling up, Steve F1 gets the quicker pit stop. Demon R had the quicker pit stop earlier because he didn't fill up. Now we've got a battle on between these two for net lead of the race, but Conrad is actually leading the race on the pack cam at the moment, with Nelly right behind him and SGP not too far away. So it kind of looks at the moment like we've got these three pitting at the same sort of time as each other, and then Conrad, Nelly and SGP pitting at the same time as each other. Jimmy, Twilight trying to do longer stints. Deep Light, has he got a run here on Steve F1? Steve F1 covers the inside.
I thought he was parking it there, but he needs to watch because Jason's going to come in. He's got to be careful. He's either got to work with Steve F1 or he's got the inside line now.
Yep, going for the move then through the kink. See Steve F1, is he going to try and fight into the chicane?
Is Jason going? No, Jason's back now.
Okay, side by side they go. Steve F1, oh, he's got a little bit wide. Probably dipped a wheel in the grass there. Jason having a look up the inside. Steve F1 should have the speed around the outside though, as Conrad is into the pits. Interesting. Oh, and SGP's just got big time wide at turn 3 as well. Looked like Demon R was giving Jason a bit of slipstream then. Niall shares it with Steve F1. Is Jason going to get the move done on Steve F1? Who knows who we're going to see first?
Don't know. Jason? Steve F1? They're still side by side.
Yeah, that they are. Okay, so Steve F1 covering that inside line, should have that covered off. Okay, so Connor pitted then, so he's done a 7-lap stint and then a 5-lap stint. Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, well he's got 8 laps to go. He's not getting to the end from now.
So he could do a 4-4 then?
He could do, yeah. Maybe that's his plan. Maybe he's gone for a switch of strategy. And I mentioned a little earlier that it looked like it was getting misty. The sun has come out again, so misty not happening. Demon R opening up the gap a little bit here to Steve F1.
If he goes 4-4, that means that it gives him faster lap times because he can push more compared to these three that are doing. Well, they've done a 4 now, they're doing 5. It seems like they're doing 5.
That is, yeah, I think you're right there. So Conrad could push a bit more. Okay, so let's see. Demon R's closing in a bit on Jimmy. Steve F1 in the 5th place has opened up the gap a little bit to Jason. Jason will be getting a bit of boost, as will Conrad, who has just passed Jason. Oh, Jimmy! I think Jimmy's tyres are gone. Yeah, he's heading to the pit. So I wonder if Jimmy's going to try and get to the end from here. I'd be a little bit concerned though, because if you've done 12 laps and you've done 1 pit stop, I don't think you get into the end of the race on 1 more. SGP's tyres are looking about the same as Nelly's. So where do they need to get to, Ray? End of this lap and then they can pit and go to the end?
It would be, wouldn't it? This lap. That would be what?
It'd be a 7-lap stint at the end. Yeah.
Is that going to be too much? Are they going to get? I was going to say swallowed at the end.
We'll have no P Diddy action here, thank you. Okay, Conrad with nice, fresh, hot tyres, closing in on Steve F1. I mean, the interesting part now, Ray, is that Nelly SGP have got 1 more pit stop to do, I reckon. While Steve F1... Oh, Nelly! Oh, no. Yeah, he's gone deep at the hairpin. Conrad has a massive hang slapper while making the overtake. He's done well to save that. Yeah, so SGP Nelly, I think, have got 1 more pit stop to do. Conrad, Demon R, Steve F1 and Jason I think have got one more pit stop to do. So that technically would put SGP and Nelly in the better position right now.
See how much they've got to fill up as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's also going to depend how much their tyres are going. How much their tyres are going. Okay, so SGP's front right tyre is pretty much gone. Is he heading to the pits? No, he's going for another lap. Nelly's slow. What has happened there?
I don't know. Is it? He's going for the pits.
I wonder if he might have got reset. You know, I could be wrong. But you know, like if you go too deep, I don't know if that
went to the pits.
Okay.
Is he going for the undercut?
Well, it looks like it. Okay. I don't know if it's going to work though, because with SGP and no, SGP hasn't pitted, has he? Nelly's pitted. Okay, so yeah, he will come out and get some boost. Okay, so we currently have SGP leading the way, Demon R in second place, Conrad in third with fresher tyres, and possibly be able to push a bit more. Jason in fourth place, still got another pit stop to do. As long as he can get to the end of not this lap, the next one should be alright. Gary, I think he's on the 5-lap strategy as well. He's battling with Rich Blues. These two have been battling for quite a bit in this race. Let's see if Rich is going to cover that inside line. Is Gary going to dive? Neither.
Cover it either. He went pretty wide there. He's going to put him in a tighter line here so Gary could get a run. Oh, he's hit a wobble as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me, a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Okay, looking at, I've just spotted the pack cam for a moment. I think, Richard's just dipped a wheel wide. I think Conrad is closing in on the back of Demon R. Yes, he is. And this may be a big factor here, Ray, that worn tyres versus fresh tyres is a massive delta in lap time, as Gary's having a look at the inside of Rich Blues. At the hairpin, maybe he'll close in towards the Schumacher S's. Well, I mean, Gary might fear the Schumacher S's now. Yeah, see, he's avoiding that left-hand curve as well after what happened on the opening lap, but he's had a good exit out of the chicane up towards the left-hander here. Can he get it slowed down? Oh, nice!
Oh, he's gone deep. He's gone deep.
There's a lovely switchback from Rich there.
Yeah, I think Rich wasn't really covering that. I think he was wanting more of the wide into the apex and then out, so he kept most of his momentum through that corner.
Absolutely.
As we come up to the chicane, are they going to get it slowed down? Bouncing over the curb a wee bit there. Is Gary going for the pits by the looks of it?
Yes, he is. Okay, so Gary's going for a 6-lap stint at the end here. So Steve F1 now in 7th place. He's had a lap of boost. An SGP has just pitted and Gary is in the pits, which means that if Steve F1 passes both of them, he won't get the boost anymore, but he should have got the jump over Demon R, who has not pitted yet. Conrad's right behind him. Okay, so it looks we're definitely going to have some different strategies going on here in this final part of the race, aren't we, Ray? Because we've got SGP on 6-lap tyres, Steve F1 on 7 laps, Gary with 6 laps. Let's see, Demon R is probably going to be 5 laps. Connor, I mean, it might make sense for Connor if he actually follows Demon R in the pits here, you know. I am, yeah. I kind of, it was a sort of half question.
I didn't hear it because I went to stand up and I hit that button again.
Oh dear. Basically what I was saying was that it might be an idea for Conrad to follow Demon R into the pits here. Because although he could do 4 and 4, if he does the extra lap, he'll get, he'll lose time to Demon R, won't he?
But he'll still have. It depends. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to work this actually, because that way, is it probably get the better tyres to push through now, so you can have a lap of pushing without Demon R in front of him.
True. Okay, yeah, Demon R into the pits.
You know, if you get that close at the corner, you get that concertina effect, and it can slow you down because you're having to just brake that wee bit earlier so you don't hit the car in front of you.
Absolutely, yeah. You do lose time when you're behind someone. Okay, so Steve F1 looks like he's looked after his tyres quite nicely in the first 2 laps on this stint. He's now got SGP right behind him though, and Nelly there as well. I mean, I must admit, 7 laps on the tyres we saw from the first stint for SGP and Nelly and Connor, I think it was. The 7 laps was very difficult to do. That 7th lap was absolutely awful. So we see how Steve's going to get on here. SGP having a look up the inside. So 7 laps versus 6 laps with Nelly right behind him. Demon R coming out of the pitch now into the first corner as these two still side by side. I mean, a bit like we saw with Steve F1 and Demon R last week. If these two battle, their tyres won't make it, will they?
No, and Steve F1 doesn't want to really be fighting the SGP. He knows he's got to push to kind of cover off Demon R.
Yeah. I mean,
well, hits are finished. It's just
it's all about track position now, isn't it? There's Demon R and Jimmy. Rich Blues is in 2nd place. I don't know for how much longer because he's got no front tyres.
He's off there.
So, 4th, yeah. Oh, Nelly coming past as well. He's in 2nd place for a while. He's now going to...
2 steps forward and 5 steps back.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Rich. I mean, okay, in hindsight, he perhaps could have pitted the lap before. Conrad did go for the extra lap. I mean, it's interesting, his previous 2 laps he did a 2:06.8 and then the lap where he was behind Demon R was a 2:08. So right about what you were saying with losing the lap time. But in the pits he goes now for a 4-lap stint at the end. So Steve F1 is going to become net leader, but it's all going to be about the tyres. Demon R at the back there has got fresher tyres than the 3 cars ahead, but none of these cars have boost. So it's all about who can make moves and who can hold on here now.
Where's Conrad going to come out? That's going to put a bit of a spice to it if he comes out just behind these guys. He's been in the pits for a while. He's still filling up.
Yeah.
How much fuel does he need for 3 laps?
Demon R, there was a few little wiggles there as I think him and Nelly were trying to work out whether they're attacking or defending or not. Demon R makes the move. I mean, it would kind of make sense for Nelly now to not necessarily attack Demon R with him having the fresher tyres if he can get SGP out of position. Nelly may be able to benefit as well. Conrad has come out in 7th place, so he's going to have some boost, but he is quite far behind at the moment as Demon R has a little bit of a wiggle. I mean, it's an interesting situation at the moment now. It's a bit like the start of the race here where Steve F1 sort of bolted away at the start and Demon R had to try and catch him. Same situation now, but with very different levels of tyre life.
You know what I've just realised?
What's that?
Jason has dropped off from these guys.
Oh, yes, he has. Right.
Is he at a moment or?
Maybe. I mean, it looked like he was struggling for grip at the hairpin on the pack a moment ago. Demon R right up the rear wing of SGP. Little wobbles there, perhaps looking at. I must admit, I'm not a fan of making an overtake into this particular corner. You can get someone out of shape to get an attack into this corner, but I think you're definitely much better off setting somebody up for the run all the way down to the chicane. It's not easy to do. Steve F1 though still pulling away a little bit here. Demon R, if he wants to try and close in on Steve F1, he's going to have to dispatch SGP pretty quickly, I think.
Yep, and Is he going for it? He's looking, he's trying. SGP's using his parking warden techniques.
Yeah, that he is. Okay, Jason has got Connor right behind him. I'm wondering if Jason, I don't know if he's had a difficult few laps or not. SGP goes defensive. DNR takes the race in the line. SGP's got a little bit deep. That could be costly. DNR with those fresher tyres, getting the power down. Can he get across? Yes, he can.
He's getting there.
Whoa!
SGP, that's what SGP was going to send it inside, but Demon R was shaking his shimmy out.
As that he was. I think that was a definite get the power down to try and make sure you're ahead and cover that left-hand side. Okay, so SGP's tyres looking pretty good. Nelly's looking a little bit more damaged. Jason actually looked like he had good tyres. Connor's, they're pretty much brand new. But for Conrad, you know, he's in a difficult position now. Always trying to make the move on Jason. Jason spots it, doesn't fight it. The problem for Conrad now, though, is he is in that 5th place where he's not going to get any boost. He's got fresher tyres, but I don't think it's going to be enough not to catch Steve F1 and Demon R. Okay, well, we've still got this and 2 more laps to go. Steve F1's tyres, okay, they are looking a bit worn, but they could do it as he pulled a blinder here in the final stint. Saying that was
better tyres, so's SGP. Steve F1 might be, I think the last lap he's going to be struggling.
Yeah.
Nelly's just there, he's just...
Yeah. It's going to be
close.
close.
Not even looking at fuel, them just going to run out of fuel.
Okay, interesting. Jason's got plenty of tyres. I wonder if he just had a big off somewhere, or maybe had a penalty, I don't know. Twilight's got plenty of tyres, Formula Gary, plenty of tyres, Rich Blues, plenty of tyres, so we could still have a battle. 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Oh yeah, Demon R's closed that gap up rapidly, hasn't he? So difficult situation now for Steve F1, because Demon R's got plenty of tyre life, so he can either take his time or go on the attack. Whereas Steve F1, I mean, he'll be able to defend, but I don't think he's going to be able to. He's not going to be able to put any real effort through those tyres, is he?
Early in SGP, you can see now just dropping back, which they need to watch out because they'll be coming into the clutches of Conrad in 5th place.
Absolutely. Okay, so I mean, we are definitely seeing the benefit of fresher tyres here. So Demon R right behind Steve F1 now. Let's not forget as well, in terms of the championship, Steve F1, is it 6-point lead? 7-point lead over Demon R. So this Demon R's, it doesn't look like he's taking a risk here. Excuse me. And to be honest, he doesn't need to, does he? I mean, he'll know that Steve F1's on a 7-lap stint, and he knows that Steve F1's tyres are going to struggle, so he doesn't need to rush. But like you said, he doesn't want to have Conrad closing in on him on the last lap, does he? Does he?
No.
Fuck, he does.
No.
Okay.
Conrad can just see Nelly in front of him, even though we're looking back at the minute in the back cam. I was looking forward when I was looking.
Steve Nard's got a run on Steve F1 here. Got a better exit out of the right-hander. Is he going to go for it into the chicane? We saw him, these two go side by side. He's not going for it. Oh, he's actually given Steve F1 a little nudge. Okay, so, yeah, he definitely, I mean, I think he could. Oh, look at Steve's tyres. Steve's trying to go defensive. 1 lap. I mean, okay, is there enough tyre for this last lap? Oh, he's gone a bit wide. I think that front left isn't going to make it. Okay, let's see what they can do down into turn 1. Conrad and Jason in the background, not too far away. Steve F1 going super defensive. Demon R pulling over to the racing line. On the brakes they go, and Steve F1's gone straight on. He's managed to stay on the track. It just wouldn't slow down for him. SGP's got slightly better tyres than Steve F1, but not by much. Okay, Demon R opens that gap up now then, and on the pack cam, Ray, Connor's on the back of Nelly.
Yeah, you can just see him in the background there. Yeah, Steve F1 struggling now. The SGP's getting him.
Yeah, Conrad nearly tagged the back of Nelly through the little flip-flap chicane as well. Steve F1 still fighting hard to keep hold of those positions, but you can just see the cars under steering. SGP may be able to make this move round the outside, and he kind of does. I mean, SGP's hardly got any tyres left, but it just goes to show the difference between a little bit of tyre life and no tyre life. Steve F1 trying to fight it, but I don't think there's going to be a lot he can do. As Conrad on the pack car makes the move on Nelly, because Nelly's gone deep, Nelly's tyres are shot. Jason gets through as well. You know what, Jason's playing a blinder here at the moment after having dropped back. Steve F1, he's struggling on those tyres, they won't turn for him. He's got a slither. Can he hold on?
I'm gonna be gone about no.
No, through this corner, this right-hander, here we go. Gone. Okay, so the question now is, can Conrad catch Steve F1?
Is that during a Saturday night?
Yeah, gone.
Is
Okay.
Conrad getting off fuel? It's screaming at him.
It is. Surely he's got to have enough. After running out a few races ago, I'd be amazed if he did it again. He's close right up to the back of Steve F1 with 1 corner to go. Steve F1 goes defensive. Conrad. Oh, Steve F1 did not understeer. Conrad's still trying to go around the outside.
Again.
Oh! Stephen R takes the win. SGP gets second place. Conrad's third. Steve F1 holds on to fourth. He does, yeah, just Jason fifth, Nelly sixth. Jimmy, he's done well to hold on to seventh place. Twilight, hardly any tyres left for Twilight at the end. Gary's closing in on him. Can Twilight hold on for eighth? Yes, he can. Gary ninth, and Rich Blues in 10th. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see these guys a lot through the race, but when we did see them, they were having a cracking battle. Brilliant to see. Once again, the DGT League doesn't disappoint when it comes to action and drama. I mean, what do you make of that one?
It's quite interesting. Like the pit stops, like Demon R jumping, Steve F1 jumping, Demon R. Just Steve F1, he went an extra lap, or an extra 2 laps, didn't he, at the end?
Yeah.
Then, I can't remember.
It was a 7-lap stint at the end, wasn't it? So.
And I think that just cost him dear. I know he tried to do something different, but I think it's just cost him dearly.
Yeah. I mean, SGP's done well to I mean, that final stint I found fascinating because, like I was saying during the commentary, we had a driver doing a 7-lap stint, drivers doing 6-lap stints, a driver doing a 5-lap stint, a driver doing a 4-lap stint, all in that battle for the lead, and working to varying degrees. So unlike SGP's 6-lap stint against Demon R's 5-lap stint didn't work for SGP, but it did work against Steve F1. Conrad's 4-lap stint didn't work against Demon R, but did work against Nelly and Steve F1. Unfortunately for Steve F1, the 7-lap stint didn't quite work there. But I mean, it's made for an exciting. Unfortunately, no rain. I really thought we would get quite a bit of rain at the Nurburgring. And considering that this particular championship, obviously we have got dynamic weather, we don't know if it is going to rain or not. But I think a few of us might be a little disappointed that we actually haven't had more rain. Now, I know I made a suggestion to SGP a few weeks ago. I can't remember if you were there, Ray, or not. But as a suggestion for a league season at some point, to do something a bit different, where if we are disappointed that we haven't had that much wet weather in this championship, then maybe what we could do is have a championship where we guarantee that it will be wet for the first portion of a race. So the race will 100% start wet. After that, random. So it could continue to be wet, it could dry up, but what you will have is a definite would be wet at the start of the race. That may be one way of making sure we do have some wet weather. Because I suppose the downside of having dynamic weather is it isn't always going to rain. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on the wet weather. I mean, I know you've not been racing in this championship, but I can imagine as a spectator and a commentator, you would have liked to have seen a bit more moisture on the circuit.
Yeah, because it's not that things aren't spiced up. I would add more spice to the race, like.
I know you're trying to think. There's a word you're trying to think of, isn't there?
Yeah. Because some drivers might be actually good in the wet, compared to the dry, and you might find that's fucking stupid. If they're good in the wet, they should be good in the dry. But
not always
some drivers do prefer a wee bit of
moisture.
Moisture, yeah. And I think that would spice things up a wee bit more, and we're able to see what drivers like.
A big part of it as well is I'm trying to think of the word that you're trying to think of, and it's not quite coming. It's not like brings a bit more trepidation. It's not like brings more danger. It brings more opportunity. It brings more risk. It brings more mystery. But it's one of those things where, like, someone could pull a blinder, and for example, from wet conditions to dry conditions, might take the gamble of a slick tyre before others. And for example, it could be a Gary. We saw him do it at High Speed Ring, start on the slicks on a wet track, and it worked for him. But if he was to do something like that, so let's say we're racing, it's dry, it goes wet, excuse me, and then it dries up again. If Gary thinks, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go early for the slicks, and pulls a blinder, and ends up with such a lead from pitting early for the slicks and going faster than those on inters or wets, and having the boost, and then when everybody else clambers back to the pits to deal with it, when they come out, Gary's 20 seconds ahead, he could be in a chance for a winning a race because he's pulled a blinder on the strategy there. Wet weather brings a lot of unknowns. And interestingly as well, I mean, you said, like, how could somebody like be good in the wet and perhaps not that good in the dry? Sort of a bit of an example for the listeners or the viewers is Conrad of last championship or championships before. In the wet, I'd be concerned that he would be spinning a lot. Conrad now, in the wet, no concerns whatsoever. And that's because of how Conrad is driving now compared to how he was driving before. So Conrad in the dry, rapid before, with a bit of a chance of maybe a mistake here or there. However, he has improved on that dramatically recently. Even to the point now where he can spin and still win. So yeah. But like I say, yeah, I think I hope Connor doesn't take this as a dig. It's not a dig, it's the opposite. But Connor of before, I would be concerned in the wet, because if he drove as aggressive as he used to, and I don't mean against other people, I just meant him driving the car aggressively.
It was a style of driving that he had back then.
Yeah.
It was slam on the brakes, slam it down the gears, and then slam on the accelerator.
Yeah.
But while you've still got nearly full lock on and kind of catching them out, where now we're seeing it much smoother.
Much smoother, much more calculated. I mean, we saw him close up on Demon R before he made his last pit stop, didn't he? And I mean, you said it at the time. When you're behind another car, you do lose a bit of lap time, or it's natural. But it's possible Conrad could have potentially attempted to make a move, and I think previous Conrad, like Conrad 1.0, we've now got Conrad 2.0. Conrad 1.0, I think, may have attempted to go for an overtake, but seeing him be more calculated about what he's doing is brilliant. So yeah, I mean, him in the wet now, I don't think would be an issue. But then if you take someone that was very, I mean, you can be smooth and be fast, but you can also be too smooth and not be fast. Now, if you had someone that was too smooth and not that fast, that's the kind of person that all of a sudden in the wet might actually be very, very quick, because they're used to being smooth and calm and calculated and gentle and doing all those things, and you add that to avoiding the racing lines and just dialing it in. I think someone like that could dial in the wet weather easier than someone that, like you said, is if you're banging the brakes on, you ain't stopping in the wet. You can't bang the brakes on.
You're going straight on.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, actually, I will give a little secret here. For any of the drivers, if you're interested, go and have a look at how Demon R brakes for the final chicane at the Nurburgring. So, I'll ask you, Ray, how would you brake for the final chicane at the Nurburgring?
Nurburgring GP?
Yep.
I'd lift off before the 100-metre mark and then put a little bit of full brake on and then start dialing off.
Not bad. That isn't what you'd do, though. That's what you'd think you'd like to do. You might actually do. You know what? If you do that, well done.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, the TikToks and Facebook reels of what people think they look like compared to what they actually look like. Yeah.
I'm fat and overweight. You weigh 8 stone. Yeah, I'm overweight. Fuck you. But yeah, so the final chicane at the Nurburgring, I mean, I know I've mentioned it before, but it's one of those things. Okay, so if you drive up to the final chicane at the Nurburgring and put the brakes on fully at the 100-metre marker board and keep the brakes on fully until the 50-metre marker board, you won't make the corner. However, if you drive up to the 100-metre marker board, put the brakes on fully for a fraction of a second, and then quickly actually bleed those brakes off, you will slow down faster. And someone now will go, "What the fuck you heard about? That don't make any sense." Well, let me explain. If you keep the brakes on full, the ABS can kick in, and the ABS tries to stop you from locking up, and in doing so, it makes you travel a little bit of a further distance. So your brakes aren't actually that effective. Whereas if you go full brakes and then bleed them off, you have a continual slowing down of the car without the ABS kicking in, and you will slow down much quicker. So, I mean, it's a bit like in a road car. If you slam the anchors on in a road car, yes, the ABS will kick in. If you keep your foot planted, the ABS is going to continue to kick in, but you might still lock up. But if you banged it on and then went off on, it would actually slow you down a bit better. F1 drivers do the same thing. You hear about them locking up, and then you can see them actually bleeding the brakes off when they've had a little lock up and the wheel rotating, and then I'm going back on the brake. So yeah, staying fully on the brakes doesn't always slow you down more. But it's very easy to think that it does or that it should. So yeah,
it's because you don't hear the noise of the ABS or the wheels locking up in the game. Where if you don't have the ABS on and you hit the brakes and you lock up, you feel it more.
Yeah.
I don't think you hear the wheels locking up, and I think that's something they've kind of missed out.
Yeah.
So you don't think you're locking the front brakes up, but you are.
Yeah. You definitely don't feel it. I mean, I have noticed, especially in this car, you can hear quite a bit of tyre squeal, but you kind of have to be dialed in for hearing it. So I know for me, when I'm trying to look after the tyres a little bit, one of the main ways I actually try and do it is, right, listen for the tyre squeal and reduce it as much as possible. So when I'm practicing, that's what I do. Like, I'll push to do a quali lap and it's like, okay, I can hear the tyre squealing, right, that's the lap time I can do. Right, can I do that lap time again? No, because the tyres are taking too much punishment. Okay, then when I do a stint, it's like, okay, the tyres are squealing in this corner a little bit, right, let's try steering a bit less, let's go a bit slow. So I actually try and work it on the tyre noise. So for example, turn 1 at Nurburgring is similar to the final chicane. If you brake at like 100 meters or 110 meters, well, the braking point, if you put the brakes on and keep them on fully, it's a lot harder to get the car stopped. Whereas if you bang it on fully and then bleed them off, it's a much better way to slow down. Same thing goes for Monza as well. Turn 1 at Monza. You'd be amazed how much grip and lap time and how easier it is to slow down if you go full brakes and bleed them off quickly, rather than keeping the brakes on fully. But yeah, now I am hearing that Steve F1 was a little bit frustrated, Ray.
Has anyone seen Gavin?
Gavin, Mom! Has anyone seen my friend Gavin? Gavin!
You, sir, are a fish.
Oh yeah. Red Dead Redemption things. It's a good job I know those, and I know of Gavin. Have you been and had a conversation with Gavin?
I never really played the game.
Oh.
It's because I bought it for like the RP or online stuff, like me, you, SGP, and Steve F1 did. But I've not really played the game.
Well, Gavin isn't his friend, is his lover. And he's long dead.
You're fucking gay?
Yeah, he's gay. Yeah. So, see, if you get into the story, as I'm pretty sure you can find a letter from Gavin that kind of gives a bit more of the story. But yeah, Gavin's dead. And even if you kill the guy that's looking for Gavin, he still comes back, because I've killed him many times. And yeah, he still comes back. Okay, so yeah, I was mentioning that Steve F1 was a little bit frustrated in this race regarding the boost, which I just want to sort of quickly touch on. Obviously, we all know why we have the boost in.
I can sum it up very quick so we don't go past that time, and it's too boring for Art Pal, and he switches off even though he doesn't fucking message the page when he knows he's not going to be there. Go faster, Steve F1.
Oh! How many races you would, Ray? How many races you would?
Depends what elite racing.
Well, yeah.
Well, I've won a championship in league racing, I'll have you know.
Yeah. Brown. Two brown.
Every time we're not live streaming.
Yeah. Whenever there's no evidence of it. But
you just don't fucking stick up for me with the evidence.
Absolutely. No one would believe it. When you start scoring goals again, I'll back you up.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say though, looking at it with Steve and the boost, it was unfortunate with the last pit stop. If we look at the first pit stop, like Steve F1 and Demon R pitted at the same time after 4 laps. They both come out, different levels of fuel. Demon R gets ahead, and they've both got boost. The next round of pit stops, Steve F1 gets back ahead because of having a quicker pit stop. And was it? I think he comes out in 5th, with Demon R in 6th. So Steve F1 wasn't in the boost position, Demon R was, with a gap of about 2 to 3 seconds. That gap did come down quite quickly on the outlap there. So that has affected him a little bit. Unfortunately for Steve though, that final pit stop he did, I think was kind of the nail in the coffin, because after Demon R had caught him and passed him at the previous pit stop, Steve F1 had Jason right behind him, and then I think it was Connor caught up to Jason, and looking at it, I think Steve F1 had the pace that when Connor got behind Jason, Steve F1 potentially could have, rather than defending, could have gone for pushed laps and broken away from Jason as Jason's being attacked. Obviously it's a hypothetical now, but like I said, the final nail in the coffin for Steve was, I can understand he went for that 7-lap stint at the end to get a big undercut, a 2-lap boosted undercut on Demon R. The problem was, by switching to that 7-lap stint, the next lap, was it SGP pitted, Nelly pitted, I think somebody else pitted as well. So although Steve went for the undercut and the boost, he only got 1 lap of it because of the other guys pitting. If he'd have continued on and done the 5-lap stint with Demon R, would it have been different? It's impossible to know. But yeah, it's unfortunate that 7-lap stint. I don't want to say he shot himself in the foot with that one, but if SGP and Nelly had been going for a 5-lap stint at the end, I think it'd have worked for Steve F1. But because they pitted, yeah, he ended up only getting the 1 lap of boost and then not having much of a gap at the front. So I can understand the frustrations there, but also obviously with having a couple of drivers missing this week, right, obviously the boost kicks in at a further point towards the front. So yeah, it would have been very different had there been 12 or 14 cars on the grid.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm one of those ones that aren't making up the numbers at the minute, so... Sorry, Steve!
Yeah, blame Ray.
Faster.
Blame Ray, blame Art Pal, blame Critical, blame Hay. So there's 4 drivers. Bob, 5 drivers that have let you down there. But yeah, I mean, I understand the frustration.
What do you mean we let him down? He let himself down. He should have drove faster and went a 5 stint.
I think it's not easy though when you're in that position that hasn't got boost and you've got cars catching you up. It can be very frustrating. So I fully understand that going for the pit stop. I mean, like I say, if SGP and Nelly had done 1 more lap, it'd have worked for him, I reckon. But yeah, because the time gain he would have had would have been around about 12 seconds over Demon R, whereas the only sort of time gain he would have got overall was 6 seconds, and that's including coming from like 3 seconds behind. So yeah, not a big gain in the end. But yeah. Now, regarding the championship, that looks like it's had a sprinkling of rain on it, I reckon, because that result may have just mixed things up quite a bit. And we will have a look at those in just a moment. Now, something I do want to mention is that we all know that Albert Einstein was genius, but his brother Frank was a monster.
Brother Frank was a monster?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get it.
Frank Einstein.
Oh, no. Oh, shit.
Well, I didn't have time to get a better one.
Yeah, I forgot to get jokes.
See, I was so busy making sure I was here on time, I didn't get any jokes. Okay, next track.
On time? You were 5 minutes early.
I know.
Easy. I don't want to compare eyes.
Well, yeah. Next track. It's Laguna Seca.
Nice one.
If you're wondering if it can rain there, the answer is no. So there definitely won't be rain at Laguna Seca. But from what I've seen from the couple of laps that the drivers did after the race in private, the tyres hold up quite nicely. And the car handles that circuit quite nicely as well. But just remember, folks, that doesn't mean you can go banging the brakes on and keep them fully on the brakes and have your car slow down. So be prepared for that. But also, as per usual, if you get a little offline at Laguna Seca, it gets very dusty and you can get sucked off in the sand.
Yeah, man, watch out for the corkscrew. Might screw you over.
Also watch out for the pit entry. Here's a thought. I wonder if, because Laguna Seca's basically, it's like it's in a desert. I wonder if on the game a hotter temperature affects the fuel burn. Yeah. It's not something I've ever thought about before. I have no idea if it does or not, but I'm just thinking, obviously in real life, does it affect it in real life? I think it does. Colder temperatures is better for the fuel, isn't it?
Huh?
Yeah, so for example, you should never fill your car up or put fuel in your car when it's really, really hot weather. Would you not know that? Well, you're in Scotland, you never get fucking hot weather. So, but yeah, so if when we have our hottest days, go on.
How's the flooding down there at the minute?
It's fine, no problem here at the moment. But yeah, so you get less fuel for your money in really hot weather because the fuel turns. I don't know the scientifics behind it, but it is true. You get less fuel for your in really, really hot temperatures. So yeah. Also, I've been having an argument on Facebook today. It's not really an argument. Someone put a picture up in the local area Facebook pages of a car pulling in front of them on what I thought was a motorway, and them complaining about the person not indicating and pushing in and blah blah blah. And I happened to mention that, well, to be fair, you don't have to indicate when returning to the left-hand lane on a dual carriageway or a motorway.
You watch the same TikTok cop guy as I have.
So you know this then, right? Now, interesting, right? So I drive up the M6 quite a lot, and it pisses me off the amount of fucking lane hoggers, right? Middle of the road lane hoggers, and I undercut a lot of cars because I get fed up of weaving or crossing 4 lanes because some dickhead doesn't know to fucking go into the left-hand lane. Apologies for my rant, but it really does do my head in.
Is it not? You can undercut them. It's not.
I'm not so sure about I'm not so sure about the undercut. I can't remember, but I did do a bit of research. I think the way I see it is, if I am travelling at 70 and I am passing you and you're in the middle lane, then I am not doing anything wrong because I'm not speeding. You're in the wrong lane and you're slow. I'd need to check the legality of that. But the moving back across, motorway traffic police officer did a video about lane hoggers. It's probably the same one you saw. And he mentions in that there is no legal requirement to indicate left when returning to the default lane, as he puts it. So I've mentioned this, that you don't actually have to indicate. And I have got, not abuse, but I have got so many people that have replied saying, yes you do, it's the law. And yeah you do, and all different kind of things. And I'm like, but it's not the law. You don't have to do it. Now it turns out the picture that they'd sent, it was actually like dual carriageway, and it's a dual carriageway where a slip lane comes up to the dual carriageway, creates a third lane, and then pretty much instantly is a slip lane off. So the person had cut into that slip lane from the dual carriageway. So I know the bit of road, and I was like, oh no, in that part of the road, yes, they should indicate, because they're going from a dual carriageway to a slip road. But my previous comment is still factually correct. And oh my god, I've got a message, right, of someone absolutely blasting me and going, 90% of it's a matter, that might be your opinion, but I think 90% of people will agree with mine. You have to do it. That's what indicators are for. And then ranting about what indicators are for. So I replied with, here's the video. Here's the video I mentioned of the police officer explaining the law, and shared the video. I don't think I've had a response yet. I need to check. But I just kind of loved the fact that so many people there are going like, yeah you do, this is the law, and yeah you do, the blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, you clearly don't know what the law is. So yeah. So that's when I went to the shop on my high horse. I was like, I'm gonna go and get me some Maltesers because I know I'm right, and bollocks to the lot of you. So but
did you drive?
No, I can't, because my car failed its MOT. I had to walk. So yeah, you don't have to indicate when you're walking. But yeah.
Using your, what was it you got at school where you took your bike in for a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And they had
your bike proficiency tests.
Yeah, but it was a driving instructor that done it once, and
yeah.
Put your arm out and signal like you're turning left, and then use your left arm, wave up and down as if you're slowing down. Was it left arm or right arm? I can't fucking remember.
I think it was right arm. But also, if you want to turn left and it's only your right arm that's free, then do this motion with your right arm. So yeah. But what if I want to do a healy?
They don't do that anymore in schools.
Don't they? Well, it's probably because they're all on electric scooters. But yeah. I don't know. But yeah, the good old days, eh? When you used to use your foot on the back tyre for a brake.
A can brushed in the back wheel.
Oh yeah, cards in the spokes. But, yeah.
I thought you were fucking Valentino Rossi going through the streets.
Yeah. Wow. And now I can barely walk. Right, okay.
I took the bike home one day from the pub, and I decided to cycle. I ended up on top of a car bonnet. I was parked.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah. I know that, SGP got pulled over by a police officer on his bike for suspected drunk riding, but he was on a racer. Like the olden days, the old racers. Yeah. He was swerving around the drain holes. A copper saw him swerving over the road, thought he was pissed up, so he pulled him over. But he didn't want to go over the drain holes on his racer with his centimetre wide tyres.
Yeah, and then the wee thin tyres,
Yeah.
I had one and my dad's like, don't bump it off the curb.
Oh yeah. You buckle
don't
the
bump
wheel.
it up the curb. Don't bump it up the curb, and don't bump it down the curb.
Yeah. You could go fast on them, and you could actually get quite a lot of lean on them as well. Scarily as well.
The frame was like, I was 15 at the time. The frame was like 30 years old.
Wow.
It was my dad, but my papa's. And like back in the day, you kept your shit and you fixed it up. You went and got
absolutely
new parts for it or
Mhm.
whatnot. None of this just buy it and then throw it away shit we do today.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, on to the next wife. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Throwaway nation, isn't it? Right, okay, let's bring this one to an end, because after you said we're not going to waffle and bore people, we've talked for another 17 minutes. And we've ended up talking about racers from the 90s. So, right, Ray, thank you very much for joining us on the commentary.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you, drivers and the other admins that aren't here at the minute. And don't feel too down, Steve F1.
Yeah.
Just get a little bit faster.
Yeah. Ray will show you how.
Yeah. I'll show you on the Monday how it's done.
Yeah. Oh dear. Right. Have a good one. And we'll get on to the conference race result and the championship standings.
Ta-da!
Okay, so confirmation then of last week's race result first. There was a couple of reports placed, but no penalty applied. So last week's result is confirmed. The information of the stewarding will be should be posted on Facebook on the steward's report. Okay, so let's take a look then at confirmation of this result, because there hasn't been any reports placed, so no penalties to be applied. Demon R then with a victory, maximum 20 points. SGP second place, scores 17. Conrad got up to third place, 15 points for him. Steve F1 dropped down to fourth place, gets 13 points. Jason held on for fifth place, scores 12 points, while Nelly in sixth place scores 11. Jimmy in 7th place scores 10 points, while Twilight in 8th place scores 9. Formula Gary in 9th place scores 8, and then Rich Blues in 10th place scores 7 points. Okay, let's take a look then at what that has done to the championship standings.
Okay, so Demon R with that victory now takes the top step of the standings on 97 points, one ahead of Steve F1. SGP in third place on 89 points. He's now 13 ahead of Art Pal, with him not being able to race today. Conrad 5th place on 61 points. He's got a bit of a gap to Jimmy in 6th place, who's on 53 points. 2 points back is Formula Gary in 7th place on 51, and then it's 10 points to Nelly in 8th place. Jason in 9th place on 37 points. And he's a handful ahead of Critical, who drops down to 10th place, with him not being able to race with issues with the wheel. Twilight only 1 point behind him now in 11th place, and Rich Blues 3 points beyond Twilight. Hey on 14 points in 13th place, and then a couple of non-scorers. Okay, as mentioned, the next race is from Laguna Seca, where we're not going to have any rain, but we may have some clouds. You never know. More than likely have some hot temperatures, so we'll have to see how the drivers get on with the tyres, the grip and the fuel around that tricky little racetrack. And with only 3 races to go, the championship battle is definitely heating up, so you know what to do. Hit like, subscribe, bash that notifications bell to keep up with all of the action. So, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.